Hello everyone! We've got car launches and testing just around the corner, so before all that kicks in and the year finally gets started, I thought I'd make some predictions for the year ahead in the form of a bingo card. And I didn't want to get all easy peasy about it with things like Mercedes will win a race, Abu Dhabi will be boring, and Bernie Eccleston will finally complete his robot suit. I want to go with things that are either very specific or more of a risk. We'll see how many I get right by the end of the year. Here we go. 1. Kimi's going to retire. Let's be brutally honest here, the Kimi of today isn't the mighty Kimi of yesteryear. He's not exactly treading water, but he's not going to be fighting for the championship. Again. Whether Ferrari drop him, he's a good wingman after all, or he gets bored and goes to join the World Shark Riding Championships, who can say? 2. 4 different teams will win a race. This is a semi-bold statement. I think Mercedes, Ferrari and Red Bull are pretty safe bets. And the fourth team, I reckon it'll be a race won with a bit of luck, but a deserved victory. So I'm guessing it'll be between Force India or McLaren to pick up that win. 3. Honda continue to blow through engines, but when they make it through a race, they do pretty well. So I'm going to say Toro Rosso will finish 8th overall, but are often in the top 10 if they make it to the end of the race. 4. 15 cars will get at least one engine penalty, i.e. 15 cars will not be able to make it through the year with just their 2 or 3 engine parts. That's a pretty hard ask. 5. McLaren launch in papaya orange livery, but manage to ruin it in some way, like maybe putting a big yellow stripe across it to represent Renault. I think the biggest running joke of the next few years will be Zak Brown trying and failing to create an orange livery that everyone loves. 6. On the subject of liveries, I think Red Bull are going to do something unique and brand new with their livery. If it were me, I would paint the car in Vanta Black, which is the blackest black ever invented, so no one could ever see the shape of their aerodynamics. 7. A big accident's going to happen, and no one will agree if the halo made a difference or not. Maybe the car rolls upside down or something, and the pro-Halo people will be like, see, we needed the Halo. And the anti-Halo people will be like, no, the Halo made no difference. In fact, it made it worse. And the FIA will refuse to clarify anything. This will also start a civil war that leads to the loss of millions of lives. 8. IndyCar adopts its AeroShield thing, but F1, F2, and so on refuse to follow suit. This is partly because they've already been designed into all their spec series, and partly due to pride on the part of the FIA. 9. The super hard tyres are chosen exactly once. Maybe the British Grand Prix, or maybe Pirelli will only realise by Abu Dhabi that they haven't actually used the super hards yet and they'll just throw them in as a wild card. 10. Liberty are going to overreact to the backlash over the lack of grid guards. They'll probably just start draping random models everywhere except the grid. Or the drivers will have to walk through some giant stiletto-clad legs to get to the podium or something. 11. The final 2021 engine rules will be published and they won't get rid of the MGUH. The teams won't let that happen, but they will go ahead with the Super KERS button push system. Maybe I'm predicting this because it seems sensible. We don't always get the sensible option. 12. Bottas will finish the season no higher than 4th. He'll be beaten by Hamilton, Vettel, and at least one Red Bull. Sorry, Bottas. 13. Red Bull will sign Alonso. They're going to have a good season, and Alonso will do some mental calculations and work out they're building up to a title challenge in 2019. It'll definitely be the place to be. 14. Red Bull end up signing with Honda for 2019. Mainly due to lack of options, and they'll have this position of holding out for 2021. Christian Horner will do some speech about bold new horizons and looking not to today but to the future. And while he's speaking, a Toro Rosso will burst into flames behind him, even though it's not even turned on. 15. There'll be an announcement from FOM, through Ross Brawn probably, that they'll be looking to completely revise the aero rules. Proposals will include ramping up the ground effect with massive diffusers and simplifying the front wings. Aero engineers have been speaking for a long time that the best way to allow cars to be able to fight on track is to remove reliance on wing aero and heft up the underfloor aero. F1 cars are basically flat underneath and they aren't allowed a lot of ground effect. I reckon Ross Brawn will finally encourage the rules to move in a direction back towards ground effect. Maybe. 16. Alonso will win Le Mans. Now, this is a bit of a wild card because I know nothing about the WEC, but he needs this. He really needs this. I don't think he can take another year without winning. 17. Liberty introduced some weird, over-enthusiastic, kind of Americanized mandatory part of the race build-up. A bit like that announcement thing in the US, but it becomes a fixture of every race. Like between the track parade and the awkward assembly for the national anthem. I'm guessing it'll include cheerleaders? 18. Silverstone don't strike a deal to allow the British Grand Prix to continue after 2019. In case you're not aware, at the moment, the 2019 British Grand Prix will be the last at Silverstone after the circuit triggered a break clause in their contract, allowing them to wrap up the deal early. The British Grand Prix has gone back and forth on deals for a long time, but I reckon they'll finally play hardball and it won't be renewed. Not this year, at least. 19. There will be exactly one new race winner. This clashes slightly with prediction 2, but I've got to give myself a bit of wiggle room. If I had to brave a guess, I'm going to go with Ocon. 20. Vettel outscores Kimi at least 2-1. Last year, Vettel got 1.5 times Raikkonen's points, but I think this year he'll double them. 21. Someone will, for the first time, rack up all 12 penalty points and get a race ban. Some drivers have been on the bubble of this a few times, but no one's actually gone over yet. I think we'll finally see it, probably in drivers who are getting a bit frustrated like Verstappen or Perez. 22. Red Bull will come runner-up in both the Drivers' and Constructors' Championships, and it'll be close too, going to the final round. I'm hearing good things from Renault, and this might be the year things get turned around. 23. Williams will finish 7th in the standings. Remember how good Williams had it in that first year of the Mercedes Renaissance? They haven't really been able to hold on to that strength, and with 2 very medium drivers, this is the year they'll drop back into their old ways. And 24, there'll be some kind of absolute nonsense that will cause a red flag. Like a tree falling on the track, a blizzard, an old lady that gets lost and ends up driving the wrong way around the track in a Nissan Micra. We'll have to see. So those are my predictions. Some are a lot safer than others, and some are a little bit out there. But that's the aim of the game. Those who dare win, etc. As I've said, I'll be checking back on them at the end of the year and scolding myself appropriately. I'm very interested in your predictions at the season ahead, so do let me know what you think will happen in the comments. Be as bold as you dare, and I might dig out some of the good ones at the end of the year when we look back. And I'm going to dare those guys over at the Pit Lane podcast to come up with their own bold predictions too. We'll see who's got the shinier crystal balls come December. Thanks for watching. See you in December. Well, no, not see you in December. Like, keep watching my videos. Don't just disappear and come back. There'll be more videos. Yeah.